I made it. It's for a joke. You gonna make it?
That's all count for a second.
Yeah. So it took us about 4 hours yesterday of all of us working together to put away all 82 boxes of units, parts, and accessories, but now we're all stocked up again. Let me show you around. All right, so when you walk into the shop, this is what you see. Lots of stuff. You can hear Alex back there sharpening some chains. And let me give you a closer look. Over here we keep some of the accessories, blade kits, some extra heads, universal speed feed heads. I keep all my trimmers up here. There's pretty much one of all of the models that they have, except the bike handles. I do not get orders for bike handles that often, so I don't keep them in stock. I keep some of the PAS system attachments back here, like the pole saw and the brush cutter attachment. I keep all of my backpack blowers right here. We keep the PB9010, the PB770, and the PB580. Also, we keep the PB265LN, which really is just a handheld blower on a backpack, which some people, it's really hard for them to hold it in their hand. They've got shoulder problems or something like that, so that's a good blower for them. I only keep the PB2520 in stock. I do not keep the 2620 in stock because there's only really two differences in it. They have the same cc's of power, but the 2520 has one piston ring compared to the 2620 that has two piston rings. And they also have a pointy tip on the 2620. So what I do, I keep that one in stock, and then I have this pointy tube here that will go right on it if you want some more penetrating power for $10.99. So that way it's, you know, $169.99 plus $10.99 for the tube instead of $200 and something, which, you know, I think that's a better way to go. I've got my heads trimmers over here. I keep all my different bars. I've got stuff still sitting on the counter that I don't have spots on the wall for. We decided to go ahead and start keeping the electric chainsaw in stock for Echo. Now, if you haven't seen it, Project Farm did do a video on the best battery powered chainsaws, and I think Echo was one of the ones that came out on top, so that's pretty cool. I got some stuff I'm working on. These two saws actually came in yesterday, said this one wouldn't start, this one would start and die. Commercial guy, both of them were out of gas. And we're always stocked up with our fast moving parts right behind us. Fully stocked on oil again. We keep the Red Armor can fuel. I think if you're gonna use can fuel, it's one of the best ones. Along with the Stihl, it's fine too. Stay away from the True Fuel. If you wanna see that video, I will leave a link right above. I have one spot open right here. There's bar oil, my Red Armor oil. But I keep the aftermarket, not aftermarket, I keep Briggs brand bar oil on this shelf, but I've got a huge order of oil coming. So I don't have that in stock yet. I do keep one of these Echo mini tillers in stock because they're awesome. They're the closest thing you can get to the Manus tillers from back in the day. The engines are almost exactly the same. And if you're going to buy any kind of 2-cycle mini tiller, the Echo one is the best. Got all my blades ready over in the corner. Then we go to the chainsaw wall, which I do. I have to put up 2 more racks for those saws that I have sitting over there. But I keep like the CS355T. I also keep the 310, the 400. Now, whenever you're talking model numbers for Echoes. That's the same as their CC power. So like the CS4910 that I've got right here, it is actually 50 cc's. The CS590, it's 59 point something. So Echo, you know, it's really convenient that way to know how many cc's the saw is just by the model number. I also keep the CS2511-T in stock, you know, the lightest, most powerful chainsaw there is. But as soon as I was pulling it out of the box, one of my favorite commercial guys was in here and he said, put that in the back, I'm buying it next week. So it's sold. And we got a little Briggs display here. I don't have much on it now because really when somebody comes in, they really don't know what they want. So we just keep all the parts behind the counter because we pretty much help everybody that walks through the door. So I keep my Briggs oil over here. Like I said, I've got an order coming, so everything's looking sort of scarce. And then the Kinetics, that's their aftermarket, you know, I don't say aftermarket, it's still a good brand, but that's also the bar oil that I'm gonna be getting over there is Kinetics brand. So, and it's pretty good stuff. I've got some things sitting over here that have been waiting on parts, some backpack blowers. I just got them in with this Echo order. I do have a refrigerator. Why do I have a refrigerator? That is because ours went out in the back and it ended up, we were real, you know, on the spot. I thought, oh, I'm gonna get it, you know, jump on Facebook, find a refrigerator real quick. And I did, and I found this one. And you know, these old refrigerators, they're the best refrigerators they ever made. They'll last forever. And it was like $100. So I bought it. It's a great refrigerator. But as soon as we brought it back to the shop, our refrigerator started working again and it hasn't stopped in 8 months. So I don't know what to do with this refrigerator. I think I'm gonna keep it, take it to the house, put it in the new shop. I got some trimmers right here of ones that I'm probably gonna be selling this spring or giving them away to my grandmas and grandpas in need of trimmers program that I'm gonna be starting. Yes, everybody talks about the piano sitting in the shop. And like, oh, we're a brothel on the weekend, don't you know? We're just playing, actually. It's really here just for storage. The lady that I work with, she got to have her storage unit. It got this far, and you know, moving a piano is not the funnest thing to do, but it's actually great that it's here because I have my son who plays piano very well, and he likes to play on it all the time. Listen to this. Our 3-pound spools of trimmer line, the 95 and the 105 for my commercial guys. They like to buy in bulk. I keep all the speed feed heads up here, the 450s and the 400s. Then I've got my trimmer line over here, some more fast movers, and unfortunately all the trimmer line just went up, yeah, thanks to petroleum prices. So that's the shop, guys. That's what you see when you come in. And of course, we got Toby up here on the counter getting his snooze on. Now it's really hard for me to film videos up here because as you can hear, I've got cars driving by all day long making, you know, a lot of racket, and it doesn't make for good filming. But I know you still want to see inside my drawers, don't you? Let's go see my workstation. So from the other side of the counter, if you're standing in my spot right here, I've got my toolbox right in front of me. I know y'all saw my last video where I showed my toolbox and it was a little scary, so I did buy these. Seriously, they're $1 at the Dollar General store, and they open up and I just cut them in half. That way I could have some little spacers to put different things in my drawers. But the things that I use the most, my Torx, my hex, my 8mm nut driver, those stay up top, and also my chainsaw tools. I've got one out right now, but all of my scrunches, I keep pokey tools, yeah, that's what I call them, you know, dental picks, stuff like that in here, and also my gas getters, and then all of my adjusting tools for carburetors stay right there. I've got a piston stop, and you know, miscellaneous lighters, razors, you know, stuff like that. Always have golf tees. They make the best thing to stop fuel whenever you know, just throw it in the end of your fuel line, you're good to go. A lot of times if you try to pinch it, your your hemostats or whatever you got, they might be worn out and not pinch your fuel line correctly, and you'll end up leaking. So that's why I like the soft tees. I keep all of my pliers in here. Got my needle nose over here. I've got my spark tester. Everyone needs a spark tester. Guys, stop trying to check it just by your eyeballs. A lot of times you don't see it and it's there. I've got my nut drivers and screwdrivers in this drawer, some sockets that I use quite frequently, and that's it. That's what I keep in my drawer. Underneath here, I've got my spark tester that obviously Ron's been in because it's not back where it needs to be. And I also leave this in the description box below. This is an awesome one. I've used this one for years, and I had one just like it that I used for years before that. This is an awesome compression tester. Then I've got my vacuum testing kit right here, the Mighty Vac. Yeah, and it's pretty awesome. I think the model is a MV8500. So I use that a lot. And then I have, of course, you know, my do not touch or do not open box. The things that I don't want Ron running off with. It's like electrical tape and thread lock and some of my specialty stuff. This is the socket that I use to remove all of the exhaust screens on Stihls with it, you know, those trimmers. Yeah, these are the things I don't want to go missing, so do not open. And then I got my Owl Torx. I love them. I am getting a longer set. I do have a link in my Amazon wish list to the longer set because I haven't bought them yet, but one day they will be mine. And what am I working on today? Since these were 2 easy fixes, I've got a commercial customer brought in his Stihl 170. He brought it in for a pull rope and said that the chain would not quit spinning. And so the reason that the chain wouldn't quit spinning is because when you take the side cover off, there is a washer and an E-clip holding your sprocket to your clutch. And I found all this underneath the washer, and so it was like pinning it all together. So as you were running it, it would never let the sprocket release from the clutch. So it was making the chain turn all the time. So of course, you know, I thought, oh good, that's a simple fix. I go to run it again. It's still moving the chain a little bit. Check the plug. The plug's getting, you know, a little white while I'm running it. That's not good. So it's not getting the fuel it needs. Unfortunately, on this MS170 and a lot of Stihls like this, I do not like it. They have one adjustment. So they don't have a high adjustment. So I can't do anything with that. A lot of times I try to kit it and it, you know, it takes, sometimes it doesn't. I've gotten to a point to where I almost just throw carburetors on these, even though I hate to do that. Also, the fuel line's leaking. When I had it on its side, working on the clutch and sprocket area, gas was coming out of the fuel line. So it might just be sucking air from there and not getting the fuel it needs. So that's the first thing I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try just a fuel line. I will look in the carburetor while I have it off though, just make sure. But hopefully it's just a fuel line. So this is one of those times when it's like the Money Pit movie where you fix one thing and then something else is broken you find, and then you fix that and then you find something else is broken. And so it's like a cascading effect to where eventually you almost have enough money into it that you could have bought a brand new saw. So that sucks. And farther on behind the counter, I got the spot where I rest my feet. My little cubbies where I keep all my, you know, Tums and allergy medicine. And this is where I look up parts. And I love this coffee cup. I got this from my Aunt Betty years ago. She's in her 80s and she used this cup while she worked at Kroger for like 40 years. I mean, she was head of running all of their books when it comes to their accounts, and she is just an awesome lady, but I've always loved this cup. Now, I say this because I have men and women that come in and they walk straight up to one of the guys and start asking them about parts. And the fact is, even though my guys are ridiculously smart when it comes to mechanics, looking up parts that are, you know, sometimes hard to find is not their forte. So instead of talking to the man in charge, you really need to be talking to the woman that knows what's going on. So guys, that's it. That's the showroom. Thanks again for tuning in. If you haven't found us on Facebook, find us at facebook.com/Chickanic. Find us on Instagram at The Real Chickanic, or find us at Chickanic.com, where you get your own t-shirts, hoodies, and long sleeve shirts. Thanks guys, and have a great day.